Today, we are talking about something that can really kill a team's spirit and its productivity. We're calling it the supervision trap. It's that subtle shift, where a manager's best intentions start to feel more like micromanagement. And that feeling of connection just gets replaced by compliance. We're going to break down how to spot it, and more importantly, how to get out of it.
So let's just get real for a second. Think about the last one-on-one you had with someone on your team. Was it a real conversation? About their growth, their challenges, what they're learning? Or did it feel more like an audit, just checking off a list? If you're kind of nodding along right now, you are definitely in the right place. We've all been there. But the good news is, there's a way out of that maze.
So here's the roadmap for this explainer. We'll kick things off with what we call the compliance treadmill. Then we'll dive right inside the supervision trap. After we see the high cost of all that control, we'll make a really important turn toward the shift to reflection. And finally, we'll look at the incredible, lasting impact you can have.
All right, first up, the compliance treadmill. You know that sinking feeling, right? Like you're just running and running on a treadmill of tasks. The speed keeps getting faster, but you're not actually going anywhere meaningful. It's just all motion and zero progress. And let's be honest, it is absolutely exhausting.
This is what it feels like in the day-to-day. It's like a paperwork monster that just eats up your time and your energy. And you get so busy just trying to feed this beast of compliance that you forget the whole reason you got into management in the first place, which was probably to connect with people, to mentor them, and to watch them grow.
So what is this trap we keep mentioning? Let's actually define it. This next part takes us right inside the supervision trap, to the very heart of the problem that holds so many amazing, talented teams back from doing their best work.
And here we have it, the supervision trap. It's what happens when your focus shifts away from the why and the how of the work to only the what and the when. It can start so simply, right? With a question like, is it done yet? But pretty soon those questions start to multiply and they get all tangled up, creating this dense web of micromanagement that just suffocates creativity and autonomy. It's a lot like these tangled roots here, just choking the life out of a plant.
This slide lays it out perfectly, the two paths you can take. Over on the left, you've got the path of control. That's all about compliance, and it leads to a team that depends on you for everything. But on the right, you have the path of curiosity, which is all about empowerment and growth. The choice you make in every single conversation has this huge ripple effect on your team's development.
So how can you tell if you're falling into this trap? Well, here are 3 habits to really watch out for in yourself. First, are you interrogating or inquiring? Just asking for data points, or are you trying to understand the whole context? Second, are you solving or exploring? Jumping in with a quick fix instead of helping your team think critically to find their own solution. And third, are you directing or developing? Are you just giving orders, or are you actually coaching your staff to be more autonomous and confident?
Now, this isn't just some abstract management theory. The supervision trap has real, tangible, and often painful consequences for your team, for your organization, and for the people you're trying to help. Let's take a really honest look at the high cost of control.
Let me paint you a picture. This is a real-world scenario. You've got a team of social workers, and they are slammed with complex cases. They're overworked, they're emotionally drained, and their manager, who's feeling the heat from above, is focusing only on compliance. Every single meeting is a grilling session about paperwork and hitting deadlines. The result? A team that is on the absolute verge of collapse. And the fallout from that, it's just heartbreaking. You have experienced, passionate people who burn out and just leave. Morale plummets. And right in the middle of all this chaos, a critical client case gets mishandled. A family who desperately needed help gets let down. And why? Because the team was treated like robots, conditioned only to report, not to think, not like the compassionate, smart professionals they actually are.
This quote from a veteran supervisor, it just says everything. My biggest mistake was thinking control meant competence. It actually created fragility. A team that is only controlled is a brittle team. It's a team that's just one crisis away from completely shattering.
Okay, that was heavy. We've seen the problem. We've seen the really devastating consequences. So now, for the most important part, the solution. And that brings us to Section 4, the shift to reflection. This is where we turn the corner and find a better, more effective, and honestly, a more human way to lead. And the foundation for this whole shift is integrity. In a field like social work, integrity means behaving in a way that people can trust. As a manager, it means you're intentionally creating a safe space where your team can be honest about their struggles, their mistakes, and their uncertainties, all without being afraid of blame. It's about building a culture where being vulnerable is actually seen as a strength, not a weakness.
The antidote to the supervision trap is something called reflective practice. But what does that really mean? It just means you consciously choose to be curious instead of demanding compliance in your conversations. It's about breaking those heavy chains of micromanagement and creating a space where real dialogue, shared learning, and true professional growth can actually happen. Let me tell you a story of how this works. A supervisor was getting really frustrated with a team member who was always missing deadlines. And instead of giving another lecture, she tried something new. She just asked, "Hey, I've noticed you've been struggling with these deadlines. How are you feeling?" And that one question, it opened the floodgates. The team member admitted to feeling completely overwhelmed and unsupported. The conversation that followed wasn't about compliance, it was about connection, and it was a turning point for both of them.
If you're looking for just one tool to get started, this is it. This question is a total game changer. It does two critical things. First, it encourages your team member to actually connect with their own internal experience, what's going on inside them. And second, it helps them see the direct link between their internal state and the impact they're having on their clients. It's just a powerful way to bridge that gap between personal insight and professional growth.
So, ready to put this into practice? Here are 3 real, actionable steps you can take this week. First, schedule protected reflection time on your calendar. And this time is sacred. It's for deep thinking, not just status updates. Second, when your team member is talking, really listen. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Listen to understand, not to reply. And third, model humility. You don't have all the answers, and guess what? That is totally okay. The best leaders are always the best learners.
And you know, this work, it always starts with you. Before you walk into your next one-on-one, just take a minute and ask yourself these questions. What are my own biases here? Whose voice might I not be hearing? How is my own background and my position of power influencing this conversation? And maybe the most important gut check of all, am I building a bridge of trust, or am I just building a wall of compliance?
And finally, let's talk about the legacy you can create. This isn't just about being a better manager next week. This is about making a lasting, positive impact on your team, on their careers, and on the communities that you all serve.
So imagine this. A team member makes a mistake. Instead of criticism, their manager asks, "What did you learn from this, and what might we need to hold differently next time?" That single question transforms a moment of failure into a powerful moment of growth. The employee feels supported, not shamed, and they go on to develop a better, more effective strategy for the family they're serving.
And here's the really beautiful thing about leading with reflection. It creates this amazing positive cycle. When you build trust, you foster resilience. When you encourage critical thinking and cultural humility, you improve outcomes for everyone, especially for diverse client populations. It's all connected. And it all starts with that one simple choice, to lead with curiosity instead of control. And hey, a quick note for anyone who's new to leading this way, please be kind to yourself. You are unlearning old habits and you're building new ones. There are going to be bumps in the road. The most important thing is to just keep practicing, keep learning, and keep trusting the process. Your greatest tool here is patience.
So as you go back to your work, I want to leave you with this question. What is the one conversation you can have this week that intentionally shifts from compliance to connection? It might be with someone on your team, a colleague, or maybe even with yourself. That one conversation, it could be the start of a whole new chapter for you and your team.